Good morning, everybody, and happy hump day. Raise your hand if you've got on pink. I know who doesn't, and that's OJ. No, you have a pink collar on that Jules got you. Yeah, you do. It's got your name and everything on it. He is wired for sound today. I'm actually lucky to still have my friend Pat. She was furious with me yesterday. Well, not furious. It wasn't like she was going to hop on a plane and kick my ass. Go on, OJ. Because we had a members live yesterday, and OJ decided to whip my ass in front of everybody. But that's what happens. Cat's hodgepodgery said I'm goth today. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Wiz said double pink today. Look at Salt. She's got on a pink robe. Nice. Susie Sue, good morning, my friend. She said, I'm on slow mode today. Hello, Messy Jessie. Did you guys enjoy the members live yesterday? It was a ton of fun. Got into some heated discussions, but that's what we do around here because we're friends and we can speak with each other civilly and figure things out. Katie Bird said, I'm wearing my favorite color, green. Katie, don't you know what today is? Gotta Amazon some shit over to Katie, don't I? Diva said, OJ did kick your butt. Yes, he did. That's all right. But he also slept on me all night long. I couldn't roll over or anything. And the minute I tried to move, I would hear, like there's something freaking wrong with him. Anyway, but it is hump day, and I'm so glad you guys are here. Now, we're supposed to have a very important guest on today, and that would be Audrey's mother, Cassie. I spoke to her several times yesterday, and she was on board, but some other things happened, so she may or may not be on. If she does call, I've got to get her set up. I'll have to mute myself and speak with her. She was on Nancy Grace yesterday, and she sent me a message saying that she went to view Audrey. I cannot imagine the pain. I really can't. But mark my words, if she doesn't come on, I'll have to switch the title. I'll have to change the title. And you are going to see people in the chat, not this chat, but they'll leave after show comments and they'll say, that was clickbait. Cassie wasn't ever coming on. That was just clickbait. That was just for clicks and views. That was just for clicks and views. Well, I just tell him to talk to the CEO of the channel. He's right there. You can deal with him. Get him. Get him. So that's how it goes. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's wrong with OJ today. He's got to take some gabapentin before we move. And I think he knows I've been talking about him. His vet's already called this morning. Anyway, enough about me. Enough about OJ. He's got a pot pie and he's watching Reba right now. That's it. OJ, watch Reba. So he should be busy for a little bit. All right, so you know what today is. What is today? Halfway to Friday.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
It is hump day, and that commercial never gets old. I will never forget when they had it on the Super Bowl, and I belly laughed. But you also know what today is, since we've been labeled as mean girls. I don't think we're mean. I think we're friends, and we just have heated discussions. But if people don't want to sit with us, I get it. But you know how it goes. I've got mine on. No worries. No worries here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pat myself on the back because I gifted some memberships first thing this morning. I love seeing memberships being gifted because I love the video that our friend Bonafide made. Yes. So if you got your membership, welcome. Keep it up. It's $2 a month, and we have a blast in the members' lives. We talk about things that we can't discuss publicly and out. Snow, you horny toad. She said on Wednesdays I wear pink and no underwear. Okay, I'm going to screenshot that to Chief Huff in Fruitland, Idaho. Woo! Girl, my goodness. I saw DT Driver said he's wearing a pink banana hammock. Is there such a thing? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Well, a lot has been going on since February 15th in the case of little Audrey Cunningham. Now, her mother was nice enough to share with us, and I'm going to play them throughout the show, some home videos that she has of Audrey. I'm not going to lie, they definitely had me in tears. We had long discussions yesterday, and things aren't all that they seem on the old Cunningham home front. And when I say that, I mean Tabitha, Captain Phil, and Josh. Came to my attention yesterday. We talked about it in the members live. I did not know this. Tabitha herself, at one point, years ago, lost custody of all of her children. She has a son that has special needs and really didn't do much to take care of him, from what I'm understanding, not just from Cassie, but other people. Dakota, another son, was raised in foster care. And when he finally got to where he was having a relationship with his mother, Tabitha, again, he said, "At least my foster mother loves me." Josh and his sister, their fathers stepped in. And so they were sort of saved from that. I want to say welcome to Christy Clark for becoming a new YouTube member. And look at this, Trisha gifted a Crime Lines and Lies membership. I get to play the song again. I love this song. All right, so the family did put out a statement. I'm going to put it on the screen. I put it on the community tab. I think I'm going to need the 150 readers. Hang on. DT Driver was nice enough to get me new readers with a case. Okay, it says 1 week ago, obviously this is dated, on Thursday, the 15th of February, 2024, Audrey Danielle Cunningham was lured under false pretenses, which led to a senseless act of violence occurring and ultimately to her death. Tragically, Audrey's death occurred at the hands of a monster we thought was a friend only 10 days after Audrey's 11th birthday. Oh, it's so crazy. LA 326 says, "Is Tabitha the grandma?" Yes, she is. Lured, he was in charge of watching her. He was the babysitter. Audrey was a charismatic, beautiful, talented, and kind young lady. She loved singing, dancing, reading, and painting. She was even learning the skills of a tattoo artist. Most of all, caring for and playing with animals was her passion. Audrey's aspirations were to become a veterinarian or an animal trainer. Every day, Audrey was out caring for our pets and walking our dogs. She would even walk the dogs of neighbors in the subdivision. She touched so many lives and filled them with joy and happiness that was infectious. She had so much energy and brought a passion to everything she did. Audrey will be missed by a great many people. Well, I can say this. She certainly touched my life. Because it's damn disgusting what happened to her. And it shouldn't have happened. The Munch and Cunningham families are devastated and grieving for what happened to our little ray of sunshine, Audrey. We are being attacked and criticized on social media platforms for showing compassion and mercy to this formerly incarcerated person. But our interactions with this person were a result of our faith, which teaches us to give our fellow man a second chance. Look, you want to give a formerly incarcerated person a handyman job around the house? How about it? Have some tile put in, have some granite put in. What mercy did Audrey get? It's one thing to say, well, I'm going to give someone a second chance because of my faith, but there was way more going on. Way more going on. Unfortunately, the system failed us due to a loophole in the sex offender registration system. Don Stephen McDougal had a history of disrespect for young female children, but it did not show up when we checked the registry before allowing him to stay in an old camper in our backyard while he tried to start a new life. Had we been aware of what we know now, this man would have never set foot on our property, much less been a part of our little girl's life. Well, you don't have to be on the registry to see someone's record. And the fact that Don Stephen McDougal was incarcerated for enticing a child, don't worry about the loophole, okay? You're the loophole. You're the loophole in this situation. I would have more respect for someone just saying, we effed up, than making excuses. But that's just me. It took Kat and I, not OJ the cat, our friend Kat, all of 2 minutes to find his nastiness. I don't understand this. The system failed us. You're the system. The system is what goes on in your home. Your system failed Audrey. They go on to say, we wish to acknowledge and thank the Polk County Sheriff's Office, the Livingston Police Department, Texas State Troopers, Texas Rangers, Texas State Guard, Trinity River Authority, FBI, and nearby county sheriff departments, as well as thousands of volunteers, our local VFW post and public for helping to search for her and ultimately find the body of Audrey. We also wish to thank the nonprofit organization Texas EquiSearch for their tireless efforts that ultimately led to the discovery and recovery of Audrey's body. Audrey will be missed, but hopefully not forgotten, as we would like to ask legislators and law enforcement, both locally and in Washington, D.C., to look at the loophole that prevented us from knowing that Don McDougal was a convicted sex offender. The sex offender registry is a valuable tool that parents and grandparents everywhere use to keep their children safe from these violent predators. This failing of the system is a crime that we cannot allow to go overlooked. So what do you think about that statement? As you know, on this show, everything is always too late. It's always too late. By the time it gets to us, it's yesterday's news. I mean, we follow as things come out. Sarah said, I have written to every Texas state representative. And don't be shy or scared to put the petition out for Knight's Law, because Justin Webster spoke to me again yesterday, and he will go to the Capitol in Austin, and he will get Knight's Law in Texas as well. If somebody wants to put the petition in here, I know Susan keeps it on hand. Share it. Let's get it going in every state, because this is legislation that has been penned by a representative in Oklahoma that will keep these people locked up. I'm not talking about a registry. It will keep them locked up. Nobody should have to do their damn homework. Keep them locked up. All right, let's look at the comments from that community post, please. Mere Camp, look at you. You're amazing. She said, I can't gift memberships, but this is my contribution for all the memberships I've been gifted. You are wonderful. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Good morning, ICU. Good morning, sweetheart. All right. After the community post I put up a few days ago with the statement I just read, Sweatshirt said if we could hold parents responsible for their son's school shooting, we should be able to hold and bring justice to the parents who harbored a pedophile who killed their daughter. Simple as that. It was the father that led to his daughter being murdered. Woo! Woo! Can't say I disagree. Spicy Housewife Witch, what a cool name, said they're going to try and pull the sue the system card, and it's not sitting well with me. Big bag of nope. Kimberly Deaney said they're doing damage control. If they walk in their faith, then they would have shown mercy and kindness to Audrey's mother. They didn't need to check a registry as common sense told them he was bad news. Lord, I don't like to be judgmental, but when it comes to our children, I call bullshit on that press release. It was their job to protect Audrey, and they failed miserably. What do you think? My goodness, that's some fire and brimstone right there, Kimberly Deaney. Way to go. Claire Johnstone said, you can't tell me the father didn't know what type of son of a bitch this is that he allowed to be around Audrey. Of course he knew. Of course he did. They hung out together all the time. Went to concerts. He lived in the backyard. Cooking dinner. Going on trips to Florida with them. You're the loophole, not the system. It's ridiculous. Well, yesterday, this was shared to the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. Audrey was taken, not to her final resting place, but she was taken to be viewed by her mother. I don't know who else saw her yesterday. And I'm sure that was not an easy day for her mother or anyone else. I don't want to be too harsh. I got a question. Salt and cayenne, two of my favorite spices, said, what age was Audrey when he moved in there? There is an age he stated, oh, I believe she was 9 when he moved in. When someone has swastika tattoos on them, they may not be a good babysitter, but that's just me. Who am I to judge?
Say, I seen the snow and it is so cool.
I seen the snow and it was so cool.
What color is it?
White.
Yeah.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. I know a lot of people have questions about Cassie and Josh and how things went down. She did spend a lot of time trying to see her daughter. Let me look at my notes. It was supposed to be week to week. She would have Audrey a week, then he would have Audrey a week. Well, they showed up with the police one day to bring Audrey back to her and had a full custody agreement. I don't know if she didn't know what she was signing or what was going on, but there was definitely a child support addendum in there. And that's just not the way you do things. It's just not. So this is her messaging Josh Cunningham. F you too. Now we're done being rude. I'm being civil. Josh comes back and says, bitch, try to convince you to take my kid. She said, I want to see our daughter. That's all. Who did? I don't know who this bitch is he's talking about that tried to convince Cassie to get Audrey. Anyway, she said, I don't want to take Audrey. He says, F both of you. She said, I want to be present in her life. He says, pull up, bitch. She said, there is a difference. Pull up where, Lucky? I'm clean and sober, and it's going to upset you to see that. She goes on to say, you're living in your mama's house. Get real, dude. This is ridiculous. You are as irrelevant to me on a daily basis as the dirt I dust off my porch. My daughter is relevant and the only reason I'm speaking to you at all. So don't get it twisted. He says, I don't give an F what you think about me. You know what you need to do to have Audrey back in your life. You can get your shit together or continue to F off. She said, hey, look, if you want to tell me to get my shit together or F off, then don't give me such a hard effing time about having my shit together and coming correct. You have to give me the space to F and do so, Josh. She goes on to say, now mind you, this was in May of 2023, while Don Stephen McDougal was still living in the home, had daily access to Audrey. Okay. She goes on to say, I think that if you would work with me sometimes instead of hate on me, you would be able to see the entire picture, that I just want what's best for my kids in general. She says, once again, Josh, you know nothing about me, and I'm sick and tired of you and your family flashing your money and bullying me into submission with Audrey. I've spent years struggling to build myself up to be good enough for her. And don't speak on Acacia. I don't know who Acacia is. Because once again, you have no idea what is going on. I am more than enough to be a mother to our daughter, and you will not continue to tell me I am not. I have just as much love, knowledge, and positivity to share with her as you do. I'm not reaching out to be ugly. I'm reaching out because I'm standing my ground, Josh. I will be given a chance to be present in her life. I don't want to take her from you in any way. Okay, this was earlier in May. Hey, Josh, it's Cassie. I don't have your number or any other way to contact you, which, by the way, is against the court order. Anytime you change a phone number, you change an address, the other parent has to know. Hey, Josh, it's Cassie. I don't have your number or another way to contact you, but I wanted to know if I could please come see Audrey today, please. I'll sit outside with her on your porch or whatever you want to do, but please, dude. Tries to call him. Then she said, I'm sorry if you're at work. If no one answers, I'm just going to knock on the door and ask to see her. I'm not trying to cause problems. I just don't know what else to do. He says, do it. Effing do it. I've been preparing for this for years. I have memorized that court document. I can afford a team of lawyers by myself. Today, how is custody going with your other daughter? What do you bring to the table for Audrey? Don't get it effed up. I did all this shit on my own. Not exactly gonna give it up without a fight until I suggest you do something with your life. Focus on career goals, going to school, like he's being a career counselor. Goes on to say, I'm at work. You will not step foot on any of my or my parents' properties. I will have you thrown in jail. If you step foot in my house, I will / someone else will pew you where you stand. You are not a mother to her. You haven't been in her life for almost a decade. All you do is give my little girl mental anguish. The best thing you have ever done for my daughter is stay out of her life. It's in everybody's best interest for you to continue doing that. My daughter doesn't need a low life tweakers in her life. You happens if this goes to court. You know how much back child support you owe? You owe how many years you have been out of her life? I'm not sure what made you think this is a good idea, but let me tell you, you can F off the easy way, or you can F off the hard way. And there's some other things that can't quite put on the channel because violence was threatened many times. many times. And had she been allowed to see her mother, Audrey, to see her mother, I don't think we would be sitting here right now. Well, goofy-ass Steven, that nasty bastard. This is from ABC 13 in Houston. Check this out.
From inside the Polk County Jail, it gives us a glimpse of Don McDougal's actions after he was charged with killing Audrey Cunningham.
The video shows McDougal as he is being arraigned on charges of capital murder. Our Maya Shea joins us now live with a video you will only see here on 13.
That's right. The video actually in the event, the arraignment happened on Wednesday, but we were just given the video as of today. It was made available today. And what's shocking, as you will see in the video, I think is really McDougal's demeanor. He seemed to be laughing at points. And what's also shocking is he's not clothed. He actually faces arraignment wearing nothing more than a blanket wrapped around his waist.
We got Steve McDougal, Don McDougal. We're going to get them out to get arraigned.
As Polk County Sheriff's deputies opened the cell door, they were clearly shocked that Don McDougal, charged with the brutal murder of 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham, had taken off all his clothes.
He's naked. And he's throwing poop at the wall. How nasty. I said, come on. JP wants to talk to you. Where's your clothes? He goes, I ain't got no clothes. Well, come on out here now. Well, no, man. Come on, man. Don't disrespect me like that. Well, wrap up in that. Wrap up in the blanket. Sicko. He was trying to prove a point. He's not going to play the crazy card. I can tell you that right now, because Texas could give a rat's ass about how he feels right now. Takes the blanket off in front of the JP. I bet he walked around the backyard naked. Smearing poop on the wall. I mean, I wouldn't have cleaned it. I'd have been like, no, you can sit there and you can smell your own poop.
Come on. JP wants to talk to you. Where's your clothes? Hold on.
I ain't got no clothes.
Well, put your smock on for now. Well, come on out here. Well, no, man. You come on, man. Don't disrespect me like that. All right, well, wrap up in that. Wrap up in the blanket. Come on. Come on.
McDougal, seemingly wearing a smirk on his face, walks over to the justice of the peace to hear the charges against him.
You have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all, and know that any statement that you make can and will be used against you at trial in court. You have the right to have an attorney present to advise you prior to or during the questioning.
McDougal is currently facing an aggravated assault charge in addition to the capital murder charge in the killing of little Audrey. This arraignment, though, is only for the capital murder charge.
You have the right to terminate any interview at any time, and you have the right to examine your trial if you're accused of a felony. Do you understand your rights, Mr. McDougal?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want a court-appointed attorney, or you're going to hire your own?
Nope.
Which one?
I'll get it done.
You're going to hire your own?
Yep.
Okay. All right, all I need you to do is sign right here for me. Your charge is capital murder, and it's a no bond.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah, and with that, this entire interaction lasted less than 2 minutes. He went back to his cell, again, being held at no bond. The next step, we should see an official indictment once this case is presented to a grand jury. Public records do not indicate whether or not McDougal has so far hired an attorney, but we'll keep you updated.
His naked ass doesn't have any money for a private attorney. Does he think Tabitha and Phil are going to get him one, since they give incarcerated child pets a second chance and let them live on their property? He refused to sign. He doesn't care. Good luck. Good luck playing the crazy card. Who the hell's going to pay for his attorney? You're looking at $500,000, and that's cheap for this defense. Good luck, big boy. Good luck. Or should I say tiny boy? Because, well, I wasn't too impressed by that nakedness. Evil Exist also covered some nasty stuff he's doing.
Don Stephen McDougal, the prime suspect in the killing of precious little girl, Audrey Cunningham, has really taken things to the next level at this point. It almost seems like he is enjoying this, and I wish someone would wipe that smirk off his face.
I can't agree more with Evil Exists. He's enjoying this. He has been taunting the police, taunting the judge. Don't forget, he was basically going to give that Suburban away. He did not want that Suburban. He knew what was going on.
So disrespectful. Anyway, I'm about to show you new footage that was released by the Polk County Sheriff's Office, which shows Don Stephen naked, just wrapped up in a blanket, with a smirk on his face, while being arraigned on accusations he killed 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham earlier this month. In the video, officers are seen opening Stephen's cell door, in order to bring him to his arraignment last Wednesday. However, when Stephen removed the blanket covering him in bed, he was naked. Not a single item of clothing on, not even underwear. Like, what the hell was he doing? I know he had clothes, there's no way he was left without clothes. He is looking for attention or wanting to make a spectacle, and that's why he decided to take off all his clothes. He was smiling, so obviously he is enjoying all of this. When asked if he wanted a court-appointed attorney, or whether he would get his own, he replied that he would get his own attorney.
Sheriff's deputies opened the cell door. They were clearly shocked that Don McDougal, charged with the brutal murder of 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham, had taken off all his clothes.
Come on. JP wants to talk to you. Where's your clothes? Hold on.
I ain't got no clothes.
Well, put your smock on for
No
now.
dress.
Well, come on out here. Well, no, man. You come on, man. Don't disrespect me like
I ain't
that.
wearing no dress.
All right, well, wrap up in that.
All right, bro.
Wrap up in the blanket.
You're not gonna do that.
Come on. Come on.
McDougal, seemingly wearing a smirk on his face, walks over to the justice of the peace to hear the charges against him.
You have the right to remain silent, not make any statement at all, and know that any statement that you make can and will be used against you at trial in court. You have the right to have an attorney present to advise you prior to or during the questioning.
McDougal is currently facing an aggravated assault charge in addition to the capital murder charge in the killing of little Audrey. This arraignment, though, is only for the capital murder charge.
You have the right to terminate any interview at any time, and you have the right to examine your trial if you're accused of a felony. Do you understand your rights, Mr. McDougal?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want a court-appointed attorney, or you gonna hire your own?
Nope.
Which one?
I'll be a attorney.
You gonna hire your own?
Yep.
All right, all I need you to do is sign right here for me. Your charge is capital murder, and it's a no bond.
Okay, thank you.
And Audrey Cunningham's grandfather releasing a new statement on behalf of the.
I'm going to get my own attorney. Sure you will. Tiny Blur. Freckle Dick. Sure you will. Good luck. Again, Cassie was nice enough to share some home videos with us. Like I said, I'm going to sprinkle them throughout the show.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to break the line.
I don't think you're going to be able to break it.
Have you rapped to her yet?
It's hard, huh?
Yeah.
You
Hey, I love you.
Christ
I love you
military
too.
dog?
Hold on.
Isn't it funny how people like Stephen McDouche, Letitia, Leilani, Adam Montgomery, we're going to see it in Michael Vaughn's case as well, become mentally ill or insane after they're caught. They're mentally fit as a fiddle. Up until they get caught. Odd, isn't it? Horrible.
Audrey Cunningham's grandfather releasing a new statement on behalf of the family. It is the first time Audrey's father's side of the family is saying anything publicly since the 11-year-old's murder.
Our Marcelino Benito in the newsroom tonight. Marcelino, you received an email from the family today.
Len and Mia, that's right. Audrey's grandfather, Captain Philip Munch, reached out to me today. He says the family is still deep in shock, but they now want to start to set the record straight. Nearly 1 week since Audrey...
Now, a quick question before we get into this. What would it take to set the record straight? Who would let this thing babysit their child? Who? Because you lean on faith and you like to give people a second chance? Fine, tip them at the grocery store. I don't give a shit. Like Jules said, just own it. This thing? And by the way, Don Stephen McDougal wasn't the only person that had ever lived at the flop house. You see, Phil and Joshua are gone for bouts at a time out on the boat. Tabitha's having a heyday with these people. It was said to me yesterday, if this is wrong, I'll apologize. I've been wrong before, that her doctor will not prescribe opioids to her any longer. She had to go to pain management and she gets shots in her neck. Well, I have a feeling these floppers at the house were helping with the drugs that the doctors would not get to her anymore. There's Tabitha, the grandma. Audrey's in the back seat. And there's Stephen McDougal, Florida bound with Tabitha. Florida bound with Tabitha. Gotta be kidding me. He knew Audrey well. He even told her mother, I'm your daughter's favorite person, and she will not tell. A lot of ifs in that statement, without even putting an if in there. Tell what? That he was trying to arrange a meeting between Cassie and her daughter? Or what exactly was she not going to tell? Again, very loaded statement.
Cunningham's body was pulled from the Trinity River, her father's family releasing a lengthy statement, their first public comment since Audrey went missing on February 15th. Tragically, Audrey's death occurred at the hands of a monster we thought was a friend, only 10 days after Audrey's 11th birthday, the family wrote. That monster, charged with capital murder, is Don Stephen McDougal, who lived in a camper in the family's backyard. The family writes, we are being attacked and criticized on social media platforms for showing compassion and mercy to this formerly incarcerated person. But our interactions with this...
Another loaded statement. We are being attacked and criticized on social media platforms for showing compassion and mercy to this formerly incarcerated person. But our interactions with this person were a result of our faith, which teaches us to give fellow man a second chance. Give your kids a second chance when they mess up. You don't need to bring not only Don Stephen McDougal, but other men into the home that are bad hombres. You don't do it. Coco said, is Tim Mullins their media manager? Might as well be, because this is something crazy that Tim Mullins would write.
This person were a result of our faith, which teaches us to give our fellow man a second chance. McDougal has a lengthy criminal history dating back to 2001, but his 2007 conviction of enticing a child with intent never required him to register as a sex offender. The family says the system failed them, telling us McDougal had a history of disrespect for young female children, but it did not show up when we checked the registry before allowing him to stay in our backyard while he tried to start a new life. Had we been aware of what we know now, this man would never have set foot on our property, much less been a part of our little girl's life. Audrey's grandfather sending us new photos of his granddaughter, describing her as charismatic, beautiful, talented, and kind. They say she wanted to become a vet or an animal trainer. She touched so many lives and filled them with joy and happiness that was infectious. Audrey will be missed by a great many people, wrote her grandfather. The family's focus now, laying Audrey to rest in a few days and changing laws to close the loophole in sex offender registry laws. Her grandfather telling me via email they've been viciously attacked on social media. They're hoping that by starting to comment publicly, that starts to die down. At some point next week, he tells me they do plan to do interviews and answer questions in person. Back to you.
And I don't think that's going to bode well for them. I think they need to lay low and not talk to the media at all. Because everything that they open up and say, because this lean on faith and giving people a second chance, like I said, it's not boding well for them at all. At all. Jules of All Trades True Crime, thank you for being here. She said, liars, liars. If somebody could put Jules's link in here, she has a great channel. That's the reason I don't really even cover the Idaho 4 case anymore, because if I want to get caught up, check out my girl Jules. That's what I do. She does amazing work. All right, last night, Cassie was on Nancy Grace. While I'm playing this, of course, I'm going to break it up and put my own commentary in. I'm going to try to get a hold of Cassie again. Matter of fact, I'll do it right now. Where you at, girl? Wake up, Cassie. Answer the phone.
Been forwarded to voicemail.
Oop, I got the voicemail. That's all right. She'll call back. All right, let's go through this. Because when I talked to her yesterday, she didn't mention anything about Nancy Grace. And if Nancy Grace said she's going to help her, she's going to get her counseling and everything like that, she will. Cray cray. What an amazing statement. Second chance, but arrested 10 times plus. Sounds to me like old McDouche has had plenty of second chances. At all. All right, let's see what old Nancy did.
Is Audrey's mother. There's been a lot of speculation about her. A lot of mean things have been said about her online. I want you to meet Cassie Matthews. Miss Matthews, thank you for being with us. We've heard a lot from Audrey's grandparents, with whom this sweet little girl was living with a child sex offender in the backyard. We've heard a lot from them. But, you know, I knew it all about suffering, about grieving, about mourning. After my fiance was murdered, when I gave birth to the twins, I found out I don't know anything. And Miss Matthews.
Her and those damn twins. I tell you what, I love Nancy Grace. When I had the twins, I used to watch her on headline news every night. When she had the twins, now we have to admit the whole Casey Anthony thing definitely broke her, okay? She became a different Nancy Grace. But that whole, when I had the twins, and she must have gotten laid over the weekend, because she actually is acting like she cares. Not our normal Nancy Grace, but that's all right. I'm here for it. Take a drink every time she says the twins.
I can't tell you how much we've been praying for you and how sorry we are. And I know that means nothing. I almost hate to even say it. But I want you to know our whole staff has been thinking about you and praying. And I want to thank you for being with us right now.
Yes, ma'am. I want to do everything that I can for my baby.
Everyone joining me is Cassie Matthews. This is little Audrey Cunningham's mother.
Oh my God, not today. Pandora's box said, "Where is her mother? Is this clickbait?" If you had listened from the beginning of the show, I said I knew somebody would say that. If I need to change the title, I will. Her mother was planning to come on. You know, yesterday she had to speak with Nancy Grace. She viewed her daughter's body. I had been trying to call her. Now, come on. If you know me, you know I am not creative enough to make good thumbnails or clickbait anyone. You know that. Hell, if I knew how to use clickbait, we'd have 2,000 people in here a day. You guys know better than that.
Audrey, 11 years old when she was killed. Audrey, when I look at her, Miss Cassie, is just so full of joy and life. I'm looking at a picture of her now with a little white t-shirt on with the blue sundress over it. And now she's got on a little black t-shirt and looks like a little pocketbook strapped over her shoulder. She's just so precious and looks so well taken care of. How in the hay do you believe this happened, Miss Matthews?
I don't understand how it happened at all. I don't understand how they put so much effort into keeping her from me, but they couldn't put the same effort into knowing the people that they had around her.
Miss Matthews, what happened when you discovered that Audrey was missing? How did you find that out? Or did you know that before you found out that she had been killed?
So it was Thursday evening. I'm going to say it was like 7 o'clock. Tabitha herself had gone and contacted or went to the home of my fiance's mother and was asking her if she knew where we were, if we were there, and had said Audrey was missing. Now his mother instantly calls him, of course, and she makes her get on the phone with me, and she's
This is something that troubled me a little bit, quite a bit, and I spoke with Cassie about it. Who calls and says missing? Missing. I can't find. We can't find Cassie. Have you seen her? Not instantly jump to missing. I think about Sharon Rocha when Scott Peterson called her and said, Lacey Peterson is missing. Lacey's missing. She was irritated. She's like, what do you mean missing? She's a grown woman. What do you mean missing? She's got to be out walking the dog. She's be out at the grocery store. She could be at a friend's house. She could be at the movies. I don't know. What do you mean missing? And still gets me that when Cassie asked, where is Stephen McDougal? Where's McDouche? You can clearly hear him on the 911 call in the background. But Tabitha goes, She knew where he was.
Telling me that she's missing and asking me if I had seen her. And of course, no, I haven't seen her. I honestly wanted to ask her if it was a sick joke, but I didn't. And I'm used to a lot of crazy things from that family. So when she said no, she's missing.
So, Cassie, you said that the paternal grandmother, Tabitha, went knocking at your fiance's mom's door looking for Audrey. Did they call you immediately?
Of course, my fiance's mom called him instantly, and she told him that I needed to be on the phone ASAP, and then she put Tabitha on the phone and made her talk to me.
Why didn't she want? I mean, I would think she would have called you first. Had they been blocking you seeing Audrey?
I haven't had any type of contact. I had the last bit of contact that I had with Josh, where I was once again begging to see my daughter in any way that made him or her comfortable. Whatever I needed to do, I had to do that through my fiance's messenger.
So the grandma shows up at your fiance's mom's place looking for Audrey. Then your fiance's mom has her call you. And what did she say?
She tells me that she's missing. She didn't make it home off the bus. Asked me if I had seen her, which that's a crazy question because you haven't allowed me to see her in so long. And after that, I had told her about how Stephen had messaged me.
Okay, this part's really important. When she says, I told her about how Stephen had messaged me. Stephen had been messaging Cassie for many months, and she was keeping it on the down low, thinking that he was actually going to make it possible for her to see her daughter. Fairy Meadows comment on the screen said, why didn't Grandma get her to the bus? Well, funny thing about February 15th, 2024, is she'd never been driven to the bus before. But when unusual things happen the day someone goes missing, scratch alive, find a thief, or scratch alive, find a murderer, however you want to say it. She'd never had a ride to the bus before. She always walked to the bus stop, petted the neighborhood dogs and everything like that. Mermaid said, Brooks, did Cassie think her life was in danger too? She knows it. Oh, absolutely. At the time, she didn't. But hindsight's a bitch. She knows now that he was probably going to take her out there and kill her and set her up for Audrey's murder.
Strangely, out of the blue the night before, and that I would share the messages with her. And then I asked her where Stephen was, and she went from a
Are you referring to the defendant, the murder defendant, Don Stephen McDougal, age 42? Is that who you're referring to?
Yes, that's who I'm referring to.
When they asked where's Audrey, what did you say?
I, of course, told them I haven't seen her. And in my mind, I wanted to snap and tell her, of course, I haven't seen her. You and your son haven't let me see my daughter in how long now? But I didn't because I instantly wanted to know where my daughter was. That was the thing that took over. I waited
you
on
also
officers.
asked the grandma, where is Stephen? And we know
Yes,
that to
I
be
did.
Stephen McDougal.
I had told her about
Why?
him messaging me. I had told her about him messaging me out of the blue the night before, and told her that he had said to me that he was going to take her to school that morning. And I asked her where he was and had she seen him. And she went from hysterical to stuttering. I gotta go.
You told me earlier she went from calm to hysterical.
No. She went from hysterical to stuttering, and she had to go.
Oh, as soon as she realized that Stephen McDougal had been with
Yes.
Audrey, she had to go and hung up the phone.
It was her stuttering the word, she didn't have anything else to say other than, I gotta go. Now, in the 911 call, you can clearly hear him in the background.
Guys, we are speaking with Cassie Matthews. This is Audrey Cunningham's mother. What happened after that? After she hangs up, what do you do?
I'm about to melt down. I hit my knees. I prayed. My fiance is sitting there trying to comfort me, but I didn't even want him to touch me. I didn't understand what was going on. I'm pacing a rut in my house, just wondering where she could be, where I could look, what I could do. I'm waiting for the officers. When officers finally showed up, they asked if they could search my home. And of course, I asked them if I needed to step outside, whatever made them more comfortable. But I wanted them to go ahead and, get that done and start looking for my baby. Now, I tried to ask a couple questions, and they just kind of looked at each other after they searched and were like, okay, it's all clear. Let's move on. And then left. Nobody really answered any questions for me for a long time.
What was the next thing that happened in your world?
Well, the next thing that happened was I am being advised that it would probably be best, well, advised, but not advised, which makes no sense to me, but that is what has been said, that I should stay put in my own home. And then shortly after that, my fiance, and the roommate that we have at the time, we're getting picked up by the sheriff's office and investigators. We go and we spend, I think it was almost 16 hours up there. Now the entire time I'm being asked 20 million questions that I'm able to answer with no problem. They keep trying to say to me, I feel like there's something you're not telling us. I feel like there's something you're not telling us. Well, finally,
Okay,
I
hold
snapped
on.
for a second.
Who took you where?
The sheriff's department, and they had a few of the investigators with them. They took us up to the Polk County Sheriff's Department.
So you were there, your fiance was there, and your roommate was there, and they were peppering you with questions really about, where's Audrey? When have you last seen her? Did you take her? Did you hide her? Questions of that nature,
about
correct?
the messages between Stephen and I from the night before. And they were asking me if
Yes. Now, that's very curious, Cassie.
Well, I mean, we know we have followed a lot of cases, and Nancy Grace sure as hell has too. Oh, my God, Nancy's got her O face on. Poor Nancy. I always pause in all the wrong places. Of course, they have to eliminate everyone around the child first, or the adult first. I do know that Cassie volunteered to take a polygraph. She has the documentation to show what has been going on for umpteen years. I know some people say, well, she should have tried harder. Well, it takes money to go to the courthouse. Believe it or not, it does. And they knew how to outspend her. Stephen McDougal was setting her up 100%. He was setting her up.
Because I find those text messages that McDougal sent you very, very incriminating for him, because he is playing on your emotions. He knows how much you want to see Audrey. So basically, Cassie, McDougal is using your daughter as bait to lure you down to the river where her body was later found, Why was he doing that? And claiming he was going to keep it secret from her dad. What was his game?
Well, when he first approached me, and see, when I say approached me, it was all through Facebook Messenger. I've never had his number or anything like that. But he had said that he was Audrey's babysitter, which was instant red flag. I didn't understand. But he had said that he wasn't going to pick parents' sides, that he was concerned about what Audrey wanted and how she felt, and that he thought it was wrong for her to be kept from me if she wanted to know me. So he played on the fact that I was desperate for anything. I wanted pictures. I just anything that had to do with my daughter. And for a minute, I could have believed that. But then I thought more into it, and I just knew something was wrong. And I had been speaking to my family about it. I'd been telling my fiance told me from the jump not to associate with him in any way. Do not. But he doesn't understand how I was feeling when I was craving something of my daughter.
Did you have any idea this freak was your daughter's babysitter?
Not until he had messaged me, and I had tried to contact Josh, wondering what the is going on. And I asked my family over and over again if they could try to contact, and they tried to get no answer. I wanted to know why a man that nobody knows is being left with my 11-year-old daughter. I mean, he could have chose anyone else under the sun, and it would have been okay. But when he invited me down to go fishing to see my daughter, well, for one, I knew better. But at this point, knowing what I know now, I feel like he did something to Audrey Wednesday before he even messaged me. And that if I would have went, he would have gotten rid of me as well. And then it would have been chalked up to I kidnapped my daughter and I ran with her. And people would have forever been looking for two people that don't exist, not looking in a river.
Question. So you believe this was part of a bigger plan? Why do you believe, Cassie, he needed, in his mind, to kill Audrey?
I don't understand that at all. Actually, I can understand the little bit of hatred that he would have for me, because I would be the only person that could remove her from the home, where he was already residing. I have no idea why he felt the need to. I actually, you know what? And this is, oh my God, it makes me sick to my stomach to say, but I think that in a pedophile's mind, they see a child and they see their actions as an adult would see another adult. Okay. I feel like maybe he was in love with my daughter, and he thought that maybe at one point she did say that he was her favorite person or something like that. Maybe he was good to her, but she was looking at him as nothing other than an uncle, the way a child should, if at most.
Cassie,
But what if
do
he was
you
in,
believe
what if
he
he was in
had
love with my daughter?
already?
What if he tried to make an advance on my daughter, and he didn't get the reaction that he wanted? He either snapped or he knew that she would tell. That is what I think.
Do you believe he had already molested her?
I don't.
Okay. This is a tough question. I know several people were upset that Nancy Grace asked this, but it is an important question. And when she goes to the trial, she's going to hear all of this. she's going to have a long time that they're going to have to prep her for what she's going to hear. Because that medical examiner's report is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty.
I don't know. Do you know that I didn't find out that her pants were on the bank until I watched your interview with
Tim Miller.
Yeah.
And you know what, Cassie? I didn't know either until I was talking to Tim Miller, and he told me live at that moment. I didn't know that either. And it felt like a knife in my heart. How
I'm
did
really trying to
you...
hold it together. I'm sick.
sorry, Cassie.
I'm
I am
sick to
so
my stomach.
sorry.
I don't understand.
Cassie, how did you learn that they had found Audrey?
A lady from the sheriff's department, and one of the jailers, I believe, was sent to my home to tell me and to sit with me until a family member or some type of support. They weren't supposed to leave me alone, and they didn't. She was really good to me, but I just knew in my stomach when my fiance come to the room, because I hadn't gotten out of bed. I was just stuck in my bed when he had come to me and said that there was a lady from the sheriff's department at the door and that they needed to speak with me. I knew in my and
You know what,
honestly,
Cassie? I don't know how people know that, but when I found out that I was supposed to call my fiance's sister, I knew. I knew he was dead. I knew right then. So when you hear there's a sheriff lady at the door, you knew that Audrey
I
was
knew
gone.
my stomach dropped. My heart just everything just stopped for a minute, honestly. And I felt like I couldn't breathe when she told me. I didn't.
What did she say? Did she reveal anything?
No, she looked me in my face, asked me to sit down, and then she said, "This is not news that I want to be giving you right now." And I started bawling, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, baby, you know." And she was right. And honestly, I still don't know how to process any of this. If you want me to be nothing but truthful, I am in search for a therapist at the moment, because I have been a manic depressant with extreme anxiety since I was 15 years old. I am so scared that this is going to be a depression that I can't get myself out of. I feel numb. I don't feel much of anything else at all. I feel numb. I don't sleep. I just sit there and I watch videos and look at pictures and I read all of these comments on the internet, and that's all I can do. All I can do is just put all of my thought into this in general. I can have someone sitting right next to me and they're talking to me and I don't hear a word that they say because I'm just
Heartbreaking. And the creators that think that they're going to get a FOIA on the medical examiner's report, autopsy, whatever you want to call it, are sick. The ones that are out saying that she was pregnant, get real. You think the family wouldn't know that? The medical examiner would damn sure know. Again, Cassie was kind enough to share videos with us about Audrey.
Ta-da! Okay. All right, do it. Beautiful. That's so beautiful. And turn around. And turn back around. And say ta-da! And do it. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Cassie, I'm going to hook you up with a therapist. I've got somebody for you, a lady for you to talk to, and I'll hook you up with her in just a few moments. Cassie, did you have any idea about McDougal's record? Why was he living in the backyard? Why did he have access to the home?
So I had no idea until I made the Facebook post and people started commenting, because as much effort as they put into keeping me away, I figured they would put the same type of effort into knowing the people that were around. If I would have known that I needed to do her father's job because he didn't give a to do it, I would have known. But I knew.
I've got a question for you, Cassie.
Right.
You said that as soon as you told your fiance he wants to meet me down by the river and he's going to bring Audrey, your fiance immediately said, "Do not talk to this guy. Stay away from him." Did everybody know this guy was bad news? Why would he say that?
He did not like the fact that he was like persistent on trying to get me alone. He said that he had a bad feeling about him and that there just something wasn't right. And my fiance is an excellent judge of character. He really is.
He was right. Question to you. Did you discover that McDougal was actually going door to door like he was looking for Audrey?
That's the part right there that just infuriates me to the point where I could put my hands around his throat and squeeze and not stop. How do you know damn good and well what you did to my daughter, and then you search for her like you care? You don't care. You killed my daughter, and then you want to search for.
When you found out that Audrey was missing and McDougal writes he was taking her to the bus, did you ever text him or call him and say, "Where's Audrey?"
He messaged me, actually, and he said, "Hey, have you seen Audrey? She didn't make it home off the bus." And I said, "Where the is my kid, Steven?" Because I knew.
Here is a screenshot of the message that he sent to Cassie. "Have you seen Audrey? I dropped her off at the bus and she didn't get on and hasn't gotten home. She said, 'No, Steven. Where the F is my kid?' Had she met up with him, I have a feeling her life would be over as well."
He was trying to cover his tracks. I wonder if he was trying in some way to set you up. I can't figure it out. But I guarantee you this, Miss Matthews, I will figure it out. I will figure it out. And I want you to know, not only are we praying and thinking about you, we're not letting go of this until this guy gets a Texas death penalty.
Can I be honest
I
with
know
you about that?
you don't care if he gets the death penalty. Other people do.
I actually don't want him to receive the death penalty only because I am not God. It is not my place to, judge when somebody else's life ends. And
Cassie and I had this conversation yesterday, and I said, "Well, you can explain to the DA that you don't want the death penalty because you would rather him live a healthy life and spend every day in jail." But watch Nancy's face because she loves the DP.
The bus. And I said, where the is my kid, Stephen? Because I knew.
He was trying to cover his tracks. I wonder if he was trying in some way to set you up. I can't figure it out. But I guarantee you this, Miss Matthews, I will figure it out. I will figure it out. And I want you to know, not only are we praying and thinking about you, we're not letting go of this until this guy gets a Texas death penalty.
Can I be honest
I
with
know
you
you don't care if he gets the death penalty. Other people do.
I actually don't want him to receive the death penalty only because I am not God. It is not my place to, judge when somebody else's life ends. And that to me is an easy way out for him. I have to live with the fact for the rest of my life that I will never see my daughter again, the things that happened to my daughter. And I feel like he should get life without parole, so he has to deal with all of the repercussions every single day for the rest of his life just as well.
Do you think he cares? Do you think McDougal
No, see,
will
that's
sit
the
in
thing.
jail and feel
No, see,
sorry?
that's the thing.
And let me tell
That's
you
the thing,
something.
Nancy.
He can
I
get
never
right with
expect
God
him.
on his way to
No.
hell.
I never expect him at all.
Woo! Nancy. He can get right with God on his way to hell. I did say to Cassie yesterday, I said, listen, I don't like to call it the death penalty. I like to call it your appointment for hell. Your appointment to meet your maker, the devil. That's what I call it. I understand there's a lot of people that are against the DP, but I got to agree with old Nancy on this one. He can get right with God on his way to hell. Or as I've said, not just to Cassie, but to other victims' family members, I say, they get to go meet their maker. Because only Satan would make something this horrible.
To even have any type of remorse, because you could see it in his face, the type of monster he is and the things that he did to my daughter. But the other people that he will have around him will damn sure make sure that he does not enjoy a single minute of it.
Miss Matthews, I want you to try, and I know these are just words that don't mean anything. You've got to stay strong because you've got to make sure there is justice for Audrey. You have got to stay strong. Don't fall into that depression and spiral down to where you can't get out. You've got to be her mom now and stay strong and be her voice because nobody else has been her voice. And now it's on you, Cassie. You got to be her voice, and you can do that.
I failed my daughter once by being bullied into submission and being made to believe that she was in a good home, but I will not fail my daughter again, Nancy. Everybody thinks that I don't care, that I'm just shrugging it off. Oh, she's not crying, she's not this, she's not that. No, I break down in my home where I'm comfortable. My grieving is not everyone's business, but what is everyone's business is the fact that this isn't over and things need to be done concerning my daughter. So if I got to keep a straight face and I got to look heartless for it, well, so be it. But if I'm sitting there breaking down,
who cares what they think?
Thing done.
Who cares what they think? All that matters now is what God thinks and getting justice. That's all that matters right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Cassie, thank you for being with us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for everything that you've done and how much effort you've put into this. It means a lot to me. I appreciate your realism, your straight to the point, the fact that you're not just trying to be somebody's best friend. You are in the interest of the child, my child. and I appreciate all of the information that I have obtained from you, whether you knew you were giving me the information or not. I just appreciate you in general. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you for watching Crime On.
Woo! Hard truths right there. You have to be strong. You can't spiral into this depression. You have to be her voice, and she knows that. We've had these discussions. Yes, I apologize. She was supposed to be on the show today. We were actually going to do the show yesterday, but with some other things that had come up, I was like, I don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction, because there is an attorney in Houston that wants to represent Cassie and walk her through this process, which I think would be beneficial to her. Communicate with the DA's office, you know, what is going on, what he got going on, get her a victim's advocate, and press them on charges for those that failed her. And I said to her yesterday, if you don't want an attorney, don't get one. But this guy is more than willing to speak with you. I'm surprised Nancy Grace didn't bring that up. I really am. But I'm so glad that she's got her hooked up with a really good therapist. All right. Also, a lot of advocacy groups are wanting a change. Sad thing is, we don't get a change until something goes wrong. That is the way our world works. Sucks, but that's how it works. And if old Captain Phil, Tabitha, and Josh think they're going to get any sympathy from me, they're crazy. Because it wasn't just Don Stephen McDougal that flopped in the backyard. They had other predator-type people that were hanging around that house. Tabitha got a lot of shits and giggles while the men were out working.
For change after 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham was taken from her home and killed. The suspect, a man who had been living on the family's property, was previously convicted of enticing a child with intent, but he never had to register as a sex offender. Devon Roming spoke to a victim's advocate who wants to change that. Devon, what's he saying?
Yeah, Cheryl, lawmakers and activists say it's unfortunate we have to keep naming laws in honor of children killed to protect other kids, but they are hopeful Audrey Cunningham's case will enact much needed change. It's been 4 days since the body of 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham was recovered from the Trinity River, leaving many questioning why this man, 42-year-old Don Stephen McDougal, who's been charged with capital murder in her death, wasn't registered as a sex offender.
Frankly, just because it wasn't there.
McDougal was convicted of enticing a minor with intent back in 2007, an offense the state of Texas doesn't require those convicted of having to register as a sex offender.
About the injustices of the world.
Something Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers of Houston is actively pushing to change.
I've already been in touch with several state senators and state representatives who, like everyone else, was just horrified and dumbfounded that this wasn't already an offense that you had to register.
More than 25 pieces of legislation have been passed backed by Kahn, and legislation drafted in the case of Audrey Cunningham, he says should receive bipartisan support with the right language.
Enticing a child encompasses a variety of different actions. So the language that we're going to have to specifically focus is where there's a conviction of enticing a child, where there's obviously a sexual notation to the offense, which was obvious in this particular case.
In the meantime,
and I would encourage everybody to reach out to their local state representative and state senator and say, we want to get Audrey's law passed.
Now, Kahn says he's actively working with state lawmakers to draft a bill that will be introduced next legislative session in January 2025. Cheryl.
Another victim, another named bill. Let's hope that there's some change here. Thank you so much.
These freaking fools. I get so sick of politicians We'll get it done January of 2025. Why not today, you assholes? Why not today? What's going to happen between February of 2024 and January of 2025? You're just going to be pissing and shitting and crying about it again. Get it done. And again, don't be scared to share and sign the Knight's Law petition, because it's rolling fast down the tracks in Oklahoma. Do it today. I couldn't imagine telling my boss, OJ, I'll do it in 2025. I'll get to it next year. Kids are only losing their lives. And I get a lot of flack for this, but I'm going to die on this hill. The loophole in the system that fails is the families. You got super big problems if you need child protective services teaching you how to raise your children. Clean clothes, warm water, food, education. Get so sick of hearing that, oh, the system failed again, the system failed again. Let's look at the original system. The original system is the Frankenbeans and the cave that got together and made the baby. Simple. It's been done successfully for centuries. Why is it so different now? Why? Selfishness? Better things to do? I don't know. Old McDouche isn't going to have a good time in the popo, though, I can tell you that. He's not going to have time. He's not going to have a good time in the pokey. He might learn another. He might learn what a pokey really is. Freaking sicko. Now, I have shared this before. I'm going to share it again today. They study these PEDs all the time to try to figure out what makes them tick, what winds their watch. I am probably in the minority because I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't want to understand them. I don't want to call it a mental illness. I don't want to say that they should get disability or be protected by the ACLU. That's just me, though. I know there's some states that want to actually really protect them. I don't get it. Never will get it. Never will. But hey, if they want to study them instead of locking them up, that's what we have right now.
From actual child predators. News 8 investigator Charlotte Huffman joins us now to kick off a month of WFAA Originals. Charlotte?
Izzy, we wanted to know, how does a predator earn a child's trust? How do they prey right under their parents' noses? Those are the heartbreaking questions from the families of so many victims. Tonight, we're hearing the predators' unsettling stories about how they would protect children from themselves.
And part of the argument is they can't be rehabilitated. Okay. And they said that falls under the guidelines of a disability. If you can't be rehabilitated from your illness, whatever it is, bad back, webbed feet, I don't know. They're saying they can't be rehabilitated. Rehabilitate them in jail. Open up Alcatraz. I don't give a shit. I have 3 friends right now that have every right in the world to get disability, and they're fighting tooth and nail to get that little $800 a month. But they want to give it to these people? Shut up.
I took her innocence. I took her ability to be a child. And that was not mine to take. In fact, it was mine to protect.
Too often, the people trusted to protect children choose to prey on them instead. Did you know in your head at the time that what you were doing was wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a North Texas man who sexually assaulted a child. So you guys had sex?
We had a sexual relationship, yes.
Okay, trigger warning. Telling you right now. This is going to be a conversation, mark my words, that Ped McDouche is going to wind up having with state-paid psychiatrists. He is going to describe his interactions. I have to say it kindly because it's YouTube. He is going to describe it as we had a relationship. That's how these sickos think.
He went to prison. Now, years later, he's agreed to tell us the secrets of predators as long as we hide his identity. Are you the type of person that parents might look at and say, he looks like a sex offender?
No.
You're the opposite.
Absolutely. In fact, I would be the kind of person that they would look at and say, there's not a chance in the world he would ever have done what he did. Not a chance in the world.
Perpetrators often wear a mask of deception.
Terry Miller is one of the nation's leading experts on the topic.
It's very common for these perpetrators to be teachers of the year and be award-winning coaches. The victim is the only one who knows the monster.
I wanted to be the next great mentor to young people. I wanted to change lives.
Yet this popular North Texas teacher had a secret.
I had a sexual attraction to an underage female. For me, pornography was a big trigger.
He sent explicit nude photos of himself to a student. He was later convicted of indecency with a child.
The act itself is about as close to unforgivable as you can get.
In each story, the predator, the victim, and the ending are different. But both offenders say their stories and the many others like them always start the same.
It's what we refer to in counseling as grooming your victim.
Grooming is the common practice of breaking down a child's moral fibers.
They first rape the child's mind and in order to rape their body.
The predators say the first step is isolating their victim.
Creating opportunities to be alone with her, apart and separate from the group, on the bus, sitting together all the time.
Then they work to earn their victim's trust. You become the child's confidant.
You become the child's confidant. You become their all in all. You become the one that they look to as the one that is going to provide their answers and give them their guidance.
So once you earn the child's trust, it becomes easier to push the boundaries.
That's correct.
Most often, they use texts and Facebook to do it.
So you allow sexual subject matter to be talked about, perhaps. You're open to sexual questions. And of course, then you start to push the boundary a little farther. Like, is that something you're interested in? What do you like in those situations?
What did you do or say to make sure that her parents didn't know or suspect anything?
Lied continually. We would sneak around and find ways to meet at the mall or meet at the movie theater. When we became sexual, that's when everything went into protection mode. We've got to hide this. We've got to keep this secret.
The conversation we had was difficult to hear, but listen as he gives advice to parents everywhere.
If a parent sees their child spending an inordinate amount of time with a significant adult that is outside the family, that is something to really spend some time looking at. If your child themselves starts talking about another significant adult in ways that you're going, I didn't realize you guys were that close. Any attempt to gather favor, connection is a part of that grooming process.
They say the number one deterrent is an adult who monitors the child's electronic communication.
Because this whole situation thrives in secrecy. It will never survive in the midst of the light.
Well, if you notice that we did not interview any female predators, let's be very clear. It's not because there aren't any, but because they wouldn't agree to an interview. If you want to learn more about the red flag.
Oh, I think we're good on the red flags. I think we got it. I don't think we needed all that explained to us. We know what nastiness is. We know what it is. 100%. That girl said, hey, y'all. The family said they gave him a second chance because of their faith. Well, that means they knew about his background. Damn right. They think he was incarcerated all those times because he's a good guy? He already had many second chances. That is a great comment, that girl. The family said they gave him a second chance because of their faith. Well, that means they all knew about his background. Can't say it any plainer, can you? At all. Let's look at another video that Cassie has shared with us.
Audrey, what are you playing?
Pop the pig.
Pop the pig? How do you play?
Yes. Roll the dice.
Huh?
Roll the dice. Hit this child.
Son, hey.
What are y'all doing? Audrey, come this way. Are you giving Uncle BJ a ride?
On my horse.
On your horsey? Come here. Say, giddy up, girl. Watch where you're going. Hop on, hop on. Hop on, boy. Make her drive crazy, Uncle BJ. She likes that.
So sad. So sad. And Ped McDouche had no right to ever be around her or put hands on her, or even worse, as we know. People's pants don't fall off and found by the river that they were put into. Easy enough to say. Suds is making sense today. He said, second chance. Did you see how many mug shots there were? More like 20 second chance. So why'd they take him in? Lean on Me said, can you all see me? Just wondering. Yep, I got you, girl. I see you right there. Sorry if I missed your comments. But this case is beyond disturbing to me. I'm going to check on Cassie in a little bit and see if she's okay. I know yesterday was a really hard day for her. She was supposed to be on here, but not going to hold it against her. So we will see what shakes out soon. If she wants to come on, she knows that everyone here is kind and nice and will hear her out. That's how we do. These aren't our lives. These aren't our families. We just hear them out. Well, unless it's certain people. Unless it's certain people. Hang on. Someone's calling me. All right, guys, I've got to run. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here every day for all the right reasons. No drama, no BS, no nothing like that. We know why we're here. I know that sometimes we make, light of things that we, probably shouldn't, but hell, it's what we have to do to keep our damn sanity. So thank you, mods. I know it's been a real rough 2024, but that's all right. Thank you, Susan. Sign the petition, please. It's a very important petition, and it's been pinned perfectly. This has been a great show with great friends, and I just can't thank you guys enough for being here. So you all enjoy the rest of your hump day, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning. You are the absolute best.